my god, I don't even know where to start because today's story is going to be absolutely insane. This is by far the most insane story that has been sent in to me by a subscriber. If you want to send in your own story, check this description down below. My email is there in the description, and yeah, I am 100% convinced that you will enjoy this story, so make sure to stick through the end because it is going to be, as I said before, absolutely insane because it involves some high school students in a summer camp, and well, they were doing stuff with each other, and let's just say that they got screwed, pun intended. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So today's story has been sent in to me by a subscriber, and her name is Clara. And well, Clara, she was going to summer camp outside of her school, and it was basically the very first time that she went there, and she was quite excited because it is the first time, and most summer vacations for her at least were quite boring. Like, she did nothing and she had like nothing to do because like most of her friends were just gone, you know, went to another state or went to vacation basically. So it's also not like she had someone to play with during the summer. And also she was an only child, so she did not have any brothers or sisters she could play with, so she was pretty bored out of her mind. However, on the other hand, she was kind of an introvert, so she didn't want to go outside much because you know, it made her kind of anxious. And I mean, honestly relatable to me because I was exactly the same. Like when I was a really small kid, I would go outside all the time, but then when I went older, you know, when I got older, when I was in puberty, I just didn't really care anymore. I was at school, I was satisfied enough, I saw plenty of people at school, I was talking to plenty, but just like doing something, going on vacation, it's just always something that like both Clara and me would just leave to our parents. So yeah, one day Clara was eating breakfast during like a summer morning, and eventually her dad told her that maybe against boredom you should probably go to a summer camp. Like, you can meet a lot of friends there, you can have fun there, you know, there's like plenty of adventures to experience at summer camp. And because her dad was in some kind of church community, like he also went to summer camp all the time, and he could confirm that it was very fun to do so. To be completely honest, of course the dad, like when he was a kid, he didn't really have video games to play or any other like home activities other than maybe board games. So by then, a summer camp was like really popular in like the 60s, 70s, I would say. But anyway, because Clara had absolutely nothing to do during the summer, she just decided to go on summer camp. And well, it was certainly one of the thoughts, one of the choices ever, because what she described, what she saw there was absolutely disgusting in a way, for her at least. So anyway, she went to camp, she packed up her bags, and her parents brought her to the camp. Now, everything was kind of chaotic, and like she looked around her and everyone was kind of, you know, actively trying to scream and, I don't know, punch each other. It was kind of a weird setting there. So as you can understand, Clara felt totally like unsafe and kind of like, well, she felt that everyone was crazy around her and that she just didn't fit in at all in the setting, in the situation itself. So of course she immediately told her parents that, and parents told Clara, you don't have to play with the kids who are mean. Maybe the girls you are going to be roommates with are going to be nice girls, right? You can just make friends with them and play with them. So eventually Clara was like, oh yeah, of course, like I'm gonna have some roommates and I hope they're nice girls. Although, you know, she thought to herself, I don't have to keep my hopes up too high because from what I've seen around me yet, I mean, everyone is kind of crazy here. I don't like it. So fast forward a bit, eventually they got like a welcome greeting from like the camp leader, and soon the girls went to the girls' dorm and the boys went to the boys' dorm. And when Clara came to her room, she was the first one to enter, and there were 2 bunk beds there. So then she thought to herself, oh cool, I'm gonna have 3 roommates. So after she claimed one of the beds and unpacked her stuff, a pretty friendly looking girl came into the room and greeted her, and she told her, my name is Tiffany, nice to meet you, and yeah, I hope we can become good friends. And at that moment, because Clara was so introverted, like she was really getting shy, and well, she felt like Tiffany was a really nice person, so she just warmed up to her. And then when kind of like the awkward silence went away, Clara asked Tiffany if she was here the first time or if she went to this camp all the time, like every year. And to her surprise, Tiffany actually told Clara that this is going to be the 6th time that she's going to camp. Not this camp in particular, but like she just kind of traveled the country every summer and looked for another summer camp. And then of course Clara, out of her sheer curiosity, asked Tiffany why she went to summer camps all the time and to different summer camps. And then Tiffany basically told Clara that, well, you see, Clara, I actually want to find myself a new boyfriend. And I mean, at that point, Clara just looked at her with like this sheer surprise on her face, and she was like, wait, did you say boyfriend? Why do you want to find a boyfriend? And then Tiffany was like, it's fun, I like it, I really feel like an adult if I have a new boyfriend. And then Clara was like, wait, what? How do you mean new boyfriend? Did you have older boyfriends in the past? Tiffany was like, yep, every single year I have a new boyfriend, and when I leave camp, I leave the boyfriend too. And like, mind you, this girl is like 14 or something. This is absolutely insane. Just because she wants to feel like an adult, she wants to have a boyfriend every single year. I mean, Clara just could not believe what she was hearing right here. As well, Clara was not really busy with the boys, you know, with the older gender, because she was too busy playing and studying at school. Like, she didn't have zero time. She had zero time for boyfriends. Also, Clara felt like she was really getting no attention from boys in the first place, so she didn't really care. But anyways, fast forward a bit, two other girls entered the room, and they were twin sisters. Now, for this story, it's not really important to know their name, because otherwise it's gonna be quite confusing, but let's just say that the twin sisters, well, they weren't really that special in the story. They didn't really play a role. They were nice people, but they were not busy with Clara and Tiffany at all. They kind of had their own thing going on and their own friend group, basically. So yeah, what happened is Tiffany kind of forced Clara against her will. Well, not really against her will, but more because she didn't really have a better alternative to have friends. Like, Clara was really lonely at that camp, and Tiffany was just a really good friend to her, so Clara just decided to stick with Tiffany for the moment. Anyways, the first day was kind of introductory, and Tiffany and Clara kind of went around, you know, met some people and introduced themselves. After that, it was dinner time, and soon it was bedtime. But the next day, the next evening actually, every kid in the camp was going to go to a dark forest. That's right, they were going to do a dropping. So basically, for those of you who do not know what a dropping is, you basically get dropped in the middle of like a forest or some other weird area with no people, basically, and you have to follow like a certain trail. You can't use any phones or anything. You basically get a map which you have to read, and then you have to follow the trail, and it's gonna be in like small little groups, and every little group has, of course, an adult for supervision. I mean, of course it's dangerous if there are no adults at all. I mean, these are like teenagers in a forest. Everything can go wrong and it's just unsafe. So eventually, like, there were 15 groups of like 3 or 4 people, and every group had one adult camp supervisor. So Clara and Tiffany were in the same group with another dude, and well, Clara didn't really know him that well, but it seems that Tiffany already kind of knew him, because on the same day she saw that Tiffany was talking to that dude. So then Clara kind of felt left out and lonely, because, you know, Tiffany was more interested in guys than in girls, I guess. So anyways, they were hitchhiking, you know, dropping in that forest and walking until the sun actually started setting and it became darker outside. It was dark enough to not see what was happening like far away, but not dark enough to see what was happening close by, so it was not very dark. And Clara was very mature for her age, and she really liked talking to adults, and well, she was talking to the supervisor they were walking with, and she just really wanted to know if, you know, he was married and if he had children and if they were in her school. And she discovered that not very far away where her grandma was living, there was like this high school, and she discovered that the supervisor was actually from that area, and eventually she found out that the supervisor knew her grandma. So that is like another reason why they just started talking, and both of them just completely forgot about the other two. So apparently Tiffany and the guy, well, they didn't really want to walk with them very long, and eventually they decided to sneak away from them, you know, from Clara and the supervisor. So anyways, after 5 minutes of walking together and talking together, all of a sudden the supervisor is like, oh crap, where are the other two? I totally lost them. Like, no, but seriously, where are they though? Weren't they like with us just now? Huh? What? And Clara was like, oh yeah, Tiffany and the older dude, I forgot his name. Where are they actually? Like, I actually don't know where they are. And all of a sudden, you know, they started like calling Tiffany's name and the older guy's name. And well, they didn't really hear anything at all. And Clara told the supervisor, we have to go find them immediately. What if something happened to them? What if something bad happened to them? You never know, right? And the supervisor said, of course, immediately. We should go immediately. And well, they kind of backtracked the route they were walking at first. And eventually eventually, after walking for like 2 minutes down the path, you know, where they already walked, Clara saw that there was something moving in the bushes not too far from, you know, where the path was going. And she saw that there was like a small path next to the big path, and it went to like a set of bushes and trees. And then as closer as she got to like the sounds, she actually heard, you know, some sounds and some giggling, and she thought that she heard Tiffany's voice. So she started walking to like the bushes, and she looked down like at the bushes, and oh my god, there she saw them lying together. Like the guy was lying on top of Tiffany, and like Tiffany's shirt was off and stuff. And Clara was like, oh my god, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing? Like, why are you not walking with us? This is disgusting. Oh my god, Jesus. And Tiffany was like, oh, Clara, so sorry, you have to see this. I'm gonna dress up immediately. And Clara was like, well, you better, because the supervisor is coming, and you guys better put some clothes on, because this is absolutely embarrassing. Clara couldn't just understand, like fathom, that Tiffany was doing it with the guy on summer camp in the forest during the dropping. Like, oh my god, she just could not believe this. And honestly, she was not the only one, because I also couldn't believe it. I mean, if you really think about it, summer camp, apparently some wild things happened there. And I mean, I heard some stories, right? I heard a lot of anecdotes about boyfriends and girlfriends meeting each other on summer camp, but that they're actually doing it like in a forest or like somewhere around the camp instead of like maybe like in their tent or in the room. Well, to be fair, there's not much privacy there, so I kind of do understand why they did it in the forest, but still, it's kind of stupid, because what if you get lost? Because like the supervisor, he had the map, and Clara was also kind of reading the map. So eventually, Tiffany and the guy, they were just, you know, almost not holding hands, but they went together with Clara back to the supervisor, and the supervisor asked them, well, where the hell were you guys? Like, did you get lost or something? Like, what is happening? And then Tiffany looked the supervisor in the eyes and told them, yes, we were lost. Let's just go with that. Oh my god. I mean, like the other days of the summer camp, nothing more happened. And, you know, Tiffany and Clara, they never really talked about that incident before. But like, yeah, it was very embarrassing to say the least. So in the end, camp wasn't too bad for Clara. But yeah, they also didn't really share their contacts or like share their phone numbers because, well, quite frankly, they didn't really like each other. And Clara didn't really want to be friends with Tiffany. But eventually, they just went their separate ways, and that's it. If you want to support my YouTube channel, the best way of doing that is to binge watch my other storytime videos. They are showing up on the screen right now. Make sure to check out the suggested tab, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you're new at the channel. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm, as I'm a really small YouTuber. So every little support is really helpful for me, and thank you very much. More videos are coming up soon, so make sure to stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.